Nneka knew right there that she couldn't be the reason why her sister's marriage ended. "Nneka, tell me the truth," Emeka insisted. Nneka looked at her sister. She could see the plea in her eyes. Nnenna had an issue with an ex-boyfriend that was threatening to release her newt, Nneka heard herself say. Emeka turned to his wife. "Sweetheart, is that what you're afraid of me finding out?" Emeka asked his wife. Nnenna nodded as tears ran down her cheeks. "Don't cry," Emeka said as he cleaned the tears from her eyes. "I could never judge you for what you did in the past. I love you and it's our future that I am concerned with and not our past. We will deal with this issue together," Emeka said as he hugged his wife. They both walked out of Nneka's room. Nneka couldn't believe the way everything turned out. Few days after, Emeka met Nneka and told her that he wanted to throw a surprise intimate party for his wife. He felt a party would cheer her up after what had happened. Nneka was tasked to organize the catering and decorations for the party. Emeka was to make sure Nnenna would not be at home, so that the surprise would not be ruined. Later that day, Emeka had planned with a few friends to come over and help set up the decorations. Nneka had asked Emeka about her sister's whereabouts because the surprise would be ruined if she got there before they were done. Emeka assured Nneka that he had dropped Nnenna off at the spa and would be picking her up once they were done. Nnenna and Nneka arrived the house together to get everything ready for the party. Nneka opened the door and they walked into the sitting room. And they walked right into Nnenna on top of another man, right in the sitting room. Nneka was stunned, she couldn't speak. The cake Emeka had been holding fell to the ground and splattered everywhere. Emeka turned and walked out. Nnenna couldn't run after him because she was naked. That evening, Emeka came back. Nnenna begged Emeka to please forgive her. But Emeka didn't say a word to her. He simply packed his bags and left. Nnenna cried for days, but her tears couldn't turn back the hands of time. Days after, Nneka approached her sister and asked her why she had betrayed her husband even after he had changed their life and given them a comfortable life. Nnenna sat Nneka down and unburdened herself to her. It had all started when she had to get money for Nneka's flight to Owerri. She had to prostitute herself and had continued to do so that they could both feed and pay for Nneka's fees. "I had never felt more dirty and used," Nneka said. "Whenever I had to sleep with anyone, I would tune out and place my attention on the good moments we had with mom and dad when they were alive. At first, I did it so that we could survive, but slowly it became an obsession. It became an addiction," Nnenna said to her sister. "Now, I have access to anything I want. Your fees are taken care of by Emeka. We eat anything we want, but I find myself craving things I shouldn't. I find myself wanting to be with another man. It's almost as if I can't stop myself," Nnenna said as tears ran down her cheeks. Nneka held her sister as they both cried. Her heart broke as she heard all the things her sister had to go through just to take care of her. The two sisters decided that Nnenna would undergo therapy for the trauma she went through and also to help with the sex addiction. One day, Nneka had gone to the bank to pay her fees when she ran into one of her father's old friend, Mr. Nzeribe. Nneka was the first to recognize him. The man was so happy to see her. He gave Nneka his card and insisted she came to his office to see him. Nneka was in for a shocker. She got to his office and was surprised to see that it was a law firm. What Nneka heard next shocked her to her bones. Nzeribe told Nneka that he was her father's lawyer. Nneka was surprised and told him about the men that came to her uncle's house and introduced themselves as her father's lawyers. Nnenna told Nneka that her father had changed his lawyers. He apologized for not being able to find them sooner. He told her that he had run into problems at another country and was detained for years. He told Nneka that he had just been exonerated few months ago and had returned to find that their uncle had tricked them and taken over their inheritance. Nneka was dumbfounded. Nnenna told her that her father had decided to change his lawyer just before his death because he had found out that his lawyer was into a lot of bad dealings. Don't worry, your uncle will face the full wrath of the law for trying to take over your inheritance. Your father had known that his lawyer was playing games with his brother. That was why he had quickly changed and chosen my firm to represent him. I am so sorry for any difficulty you had faced because of my absence, Nnenna said. Nneka was shocked. In a few minutes, her entire life had taken a new dimension. Your father had a will, and now that I have found you, we need to fix a day for it to be read, Nnenna said. But Nneka wasn't listening anymore. She couldn't believe her uncle was so mean and devious. Her mind went to all the pain and sorrow they went through living with their uncle and his wife. All the night they had to go to bed hungry. She couldn't believe that all that while, her father's money was being used by her uncle while they suffered. Nneka couldn't wait to share the news with her sister. Nnenna was surprised and shocked when her sister Nneka told her everything Mrs. Nnenna had told her. They shed tears of sadness and joy. Joy that at last what was theirs was finally returned to them, and sadness over the hell they had both went through. As Nneka shared the news with Nnenna, she could see how happy her sister was, but she knew that her sister's joy was not complete. Nneka knew her sister loved Emeka. So, Nneka reached out to Emeka via text and pleaded with him to at least have lunch with her. He didn't respond to her message, but on the day she had asked for them to meet, Nneka went to the restaurant and waited, but Emeka didn't show up. Nneka kept reaching out to him, but he never honored any of her requests for a meeting. One day, Nneka was out on a date when she spotted Emeka walk into a restaurant with a woman. Nneka quickly excused herself from her date and went over to where Emeka was seated. Please, I really need to talk to you, Nneka said. I don't want to talk to you, Emeka said. In the full glare of everyone present, Nneka got on her knees. If you don't want to hear me out, I will kneel right here until you do, Nneka insisted. Emeka, not wanting to create a scene, got on his feet. Please excuse me, he said to his date and walked out of the restaurant, and Nneka followed him. You have 2 minutes, Emeka said. Nneka began to tell Emeka everything her sister Nnenna had gone through. She told Emeka what Nnenna had to do to feed them and pay her fees. She told Emeka that what Nnenna did was bad, but he assured him that Nnenna was getting professional help. She begged Emeka to please forgive her sister. That night, Nneka couldn't tell what Emeka would do, but she hoped Emeka would forgive her sister. Months had passed and their lives had changed dramatically. The two sisters had moved out of Nnenna's matrimonial home and moved into one of their father's houses in Lagos. On the morning of Nnenna's birthday, she woke up to music coming from the gate. They were shocked. They ran to the gate to find Emeka standing out there with a bouquet and a whole band behind him. Nneka quickly opened the gate to let them in. They were too excited to see him, to wonder how he had found out where they were living. Nnenna and Emeka patched things up and went back to their home. Nneka graduated and went on to become a medical doctor. The two sisters rebuilt their life after the tragic loss of their parents and the betrayal of their uncle. Thank you for watching this episode. Be sure to like, share and subscribe to our channel for more captivating African folktales of love, betrayal, and redemption. Leave your thoughts in the comments and stay tuned for more intriguing African folktales. Remember, no matter how far you've strayed, it's never too late to seek help, rebuild, and make amends. However, the strength of a relationship lies not in forgiveness but in the efforts to change. Always cherish the bonds you have, for once broken, they might never be the same. Please do share this story with a friend or two that you feel will like it. Thank you.